you like to score a touchdown in front of hundreds of people? How about hitting a ball to deep left center field while all eyes are on you? How would you like to hear the swish of a three-pointer where you could pin someone to the mat and show them who is in charge? Today's guest will talk about this during this interview and other memories that he has. The Humanities Mass Communications Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now, join our host Natalie to meet the new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All the people involved with this program are students of the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you're about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 3 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they are planning, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is an NCC student in the film and TV production course and has played many sports throughout his life and acquired many happy memories along the way. He played football, wrestling, baseball, and basketball. Here's today's guest, Hunter Sharkey. Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So, we know that you have played many sports in your life and that you've experienced being a starter as well as being a backup. Could you tell us about your most favorite memories?
Of course. When I played football in high school, I had only 1 touchdown in all of 4 years. And how I got the touchdown was I had to reach out, as you saw in the video, to have the ball cross the goal line. But later, a picture came up of my knee inches off the 2-yard line and the ball hadn't crossed yet. So everybody on the football team had fun taunting me and said I didn't score. In a JV wrestling match my freshman year, I picked up a kid that I was facing with his left leg and slammed him onto the ground with my elbow on his stomach like a WWE move. I almost got disqualified for it, but my coach didn't really care because it was only a JV match. For baseball, when I played Legion when I was 15, I never got much playing time, especially when my team was in the playoffs. So I would bring in a mini cooler of snacks and just eat all throughout the game. So my coaches would always make fun of me and say that I would become very fat when I got older. Lastly, when I played biddy basketball, one year my team was undefeated for the regular season, and after every season, all of the players competed in these mini games, and a lot of the kids on my team won most of the games, and if they didn't win, they came in either second or third. And it got to the point where it looked like we started to rig the competition.
Wow, that's really interesting. Could you tell us what made you choose the TV production course?
Well, when I was a senior in high school, I took a TV production course and found it actually quite interesting. Then when I was picking classes for this semester, I hadn't picked a major yet, and I figured since I enjoyed it in high school, I'd try it again and get a more in-depth look. But now that I've picked criminal justice as my major, and I've gotten a closer look into this field, I do not see it as a possible career for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is actually really unfortunate. But could you tell me, what are some of the things that you actually have learned in this course?
There are many things that I learned. I learned how to set up my camera, how to operate, and how to edit it. There were also a number of things that I learned that I didn't even know were there to learn. Examples of this would be rule of thirds, leading an object, spot focus, continuous zoom ins and outs, and framing. In Avid editing, I learned how to trim, add music, fade music in and out, and how to put in credits. All in all, I was amazed at how much there is to learn, and at some points I even got a little bit overwhelmed.
I could imagine. Now, let's talk about your projects. Could you tell us about the student studies, the teacup, the nature, and the orange project that you created?
Well, first was my student studies video. Prior to filming, I drew up a storyboard and also had to decide which positions I was going to place the camera in. In this video, I videoed the actress, who was my sister, going through the process of studying from beginning to end at different angles. I also shot close-ups of her as well as long shots. This is, as you could tell, we shot at different times and I was a little bit inexperienced. My second was my teacup project. In this project, I learned the 180-degree rule, and I really focused on not breaking that rule. In this video, I shot close-ups of my actress, who is my stepmom, making a cup of tea, and the whole process that it includes. In this film, I started to perfect the simple editing techniques that I learned in the previous student studies project. Third is my nature project. This video was different than the other three projects because there was no storyboard and not much planning involved since there was no story involved. In this one, I had to shoot lines of grace, lines of emotion, converging lines, continuous zoom ins and outs, poor man's dissolve, shift focused, framing, geometric shapes, and I had to put in 3 different songs. So it was the first time I learned to put in songs. Last is my orange project. In this project, I had to put the most pre-production work into it. I had to write a story, then once my story got approved, I had to write a script, and once my script got approved, I was able to start shooting. This also took the longest time to shoot, not only because it had the most scenes, but also because of scheduling issues I kept running into with my acting talent. I ended up having to replace an actor with my sister that you saw in my first video.
That sounds like a lot of work. It must have been really difficult.
It
Can you
was.
tell us about your best project?
Of course. My best project, I believe, was my orange project because I was able to choose a story. I knew exactly what had to be shot and what camera positions were supposed to look like. I was actually able to call this one my own. What it's about is a guy who is completely broke is able to buy into a poker game when he comes across an orange, but he then ends up getting ahead of himself and loses the orange in another poker game trying to win a second orange. It took a total of 3 separate days to film this project due to scheduling conflicts. I used many close-ups in this because I wanted to show all of the facial expressions that could happen in a poker game, and I also wanted to shoot the numbers and the suits on the cards. I wanted them to be able to be readable for the viewers and to look good.
So you've mentioned all these things that you've learned in this course. What was your favorite skill that you've learned, and how will you use it in the future?
My favorite skill that I learned was that I want to avoid zooming in and out during a shot unless I need it, unless that's the point of the video that I'm taking. I plan on using what I've learned in everyday filming. Like if I'm going to my brother's baseball game and I'm filming them going up to hit, I don't want to mess up them getting their first home run and then everybody yells at me. So I hope I can use this in the future.
And I think you will. It was very nice talking to you, Hunter.
Thank you.
Today we got to meet a person who talked to us about how he enjoyed being an athlete for most of his life. As a young TV director, he hopes to use what he's learned in this TV production course as a guide for any filming that he may come upon in the future. We would like to thank Hunter for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Hunter. We hope that you continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and good day.
This has been The New Directors, with your host, Natalie, directed by Vanessa. I'm your announcer, Tyler Telesco. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production.